Welcome to Better with Brii Renee, the podcast where we get real, get honest, and get better, one conversation at a time. Here we talk all things family, faith, finances, and everything that just feels good to the soul. This is your safe space to grow, to heal, and to elevate. Because better isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. So whether you're working on your mindset, your money, or your relationships, you're in the right place. So let's keep it real, keep it light, and most importantly, keep getting better. Because better starts with you, starts with us. It starts with Better with Brii Renee. Welcome back to another episode of Better with Brii Renee. I'm Brii Renee, and this is the podcast where we grow better together, one conversation at a time. And I'm so excited to be kicking off this new year with you guys. I just want to thank each and every one of you all that have supported me on this journey of creating this safe space, this community for us to be honest, vulnerable, real, raw, uncut, and continue to grow together. And you already know each and every episode, I kick it off with a better perspective. Now, I want to be honest. A better perspective is really me being honest about how I feel and things that I'm experiencing. And I don't always know the truth or everything about these things. So I want you to feel free to give me maybe different perspectives in the comments. Well, this week's better perspective, I just want to tell you guys that I think that I'm finally ready to admit that I have ADHD. Now, a lot of people have told me that I show the signs of it, especially as an adult. But because I always excel academically in school, I was gifted, or I was able to skate under the radar of good grades and high achieving and extracurricular activities, that I believe that there was nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with my brain or the way that I thought. I thought I was different or special. But however, as an adult, the first person that to tell me this was my therapist. I was going to therapy for a while, and my therapist was like, hey, after being around you for a while, I think that you might need to take this test for ADHD. And I was like, what? I was so offended. And I think it came because of the shame that we have with admitting that something is wrong with you. I think in the Black community, we aren't taught to be self-aware or honest about the things that we're struggling with, that we must push through, that we must overcome, that ain't nothing wrong with you unless you damn near dying. You know what I mean? And so what if you're smart? So what if you can do these things, but there's nothing physically wrong with you? We can't see that there's something wrong. So then there must not be anything wrong. And so there was, I think, a little bit of shame, uncomfortableness that came with that. And I wasn't really ready to admit that to myself. But then after that incident, I started to see this overwhelming, I don't know, you know how the algorithm, your phone be listening to you. It started showing me all these videos about you have ADHD or your brain is like this, they're neurodivergent. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I do have all of those things and all those signs. So I slowly started to admit it to myself. And then I would share it with other people who were open and vocal about that they had it. And they're like, yeah, I see that in you. Yeah, we have that. So I was like, damn, I think I might really got ADHD, y'all. But I think the first step to growth is admitting things. And once you admit them, I think that you can begin to seek the help to understand yourself better, to learn different practices, to not try to shape and conform yourself to society ways of thinking, because you'll be beating yourself up like, why am I not fitting into these boxes? Or why doesn't these traditional ways of thinking and this stuff apply to me? Or why isn't it working? Well, it's because you're not in that box, babe. So I think learning to admit where you are on the spectrum or wherever you may be is the first step. And I want you to learn to extend compassion and empathy with yourself first, because it's okay to be different or for things to not be the way you see them in this world. And once, especially in the Black community, once somebody that you love is courageous enough and vulnerable enough to share what they're dealing with or how they're feeling, I think you, as the person receiving that information, also has to be compassionate and understanding to not make them feel additional guilt or shame for admitting something's wrong with them. I think that also that extra layer of I can't tell anyone because they're going to look at me differently, or they're going to talk to me crazy, or they're going to, shun me or make me feel shameful about myself. That also adds to a lot of people not being honest with where they are. And that comes with any type of thing that you're dealing with, whether it's abuse or ADHD or spectrum or health issues or, weight, anything that you're dealing with, I think in our community, we often add unnecessary guilt and shame to those things because we weren't taught to have these conversations and be vulnerable with each other. So if you are that person dealing with these things, whatever that is, whether it's ADHD, like I said, or any other things that may be attached to guilt or shame, don't be. You deserve help. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to identify what you need to feel your best. And anybody in your community that is around, you also are obligated, if you say you love someone and you say that they are a part of your community, to be an additional resource of help or a safe space for them. So that's this week's Better Perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now let's get into this week's episode. Guys, today's episode is all about liberation of the mind, the body, and the narrative, as you can see. And no one embodies that better than our guest today. She's the powerhouse behind Curvy, Curly, and Conscious, an author, speaker, and wellness leader who has helped thousands of women embrace their full, unfiltered selves. Through her podcast, Unruly, and her partnership with her husband, rapper Ace Hood, Sheila has redefined what wholeness looks like in real time, because I love following her on social media, y'all. Y'all need to do that too. But we're talking radical self-love, building movements from scratch, and what it takes to stay soft in a world that tries to harden you all the time. This is going to be one of those episodes that is like heart-to-heart, truth-telling episodes. So you want to replay this when you need a reminder of who the hell you are. Okay, please give a warm welcome to Miss Shelah Marie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Double check. This is my camera, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to check.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you.
Me
like
too.
I said, I've been following you on social media for a very long time, and I feel like you was my sister or my cousin.
Really?
Yes, because I'm like, well, I'm gonna tell you, I got introduced to you because my one of my best friends, she was like, hey, I follow this girl and I love her, and she kind of reminds me of you. And she sent me your page. Yeah, and she was like, just like your energy, your essence, y'all are both thick, and it's just like, and it's like pretty. So she sent me, and I was like, okay, I can see that. She is cute. But then when I started to follow you, I was like, no, she's a lot like me, so much deeper than surface.
In our 5-minute conversation right there, I was like, yeah, I can see exactly what she said.
Yes, it's like women empowering and just like want to pour into each other in love. So I'm really excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yay, I'm gonna get right into my questions. Because girl, I was like, she been busy, y'all. I've been trying to get her on the podcast for a minute, like 2-3 months now. But we're gonna kick the year off right with a good episode. So let's get into your brand, Curvy, Curly, and Conscious. Tell us the moment that you knew this movement had to exist. Like, what were you responding to either in yourself or the culture?
I think a formative part of my life that influences everything I do is the fact that I'm biracial and that I was raised in a house as the only Black person. So my entire childhood was framed by wishing I had people around me that looked like me, women specifically, not knowing how to do my hair, XYZ. I'm not up here to cry and be like a tragic mulatto.
What are you mixed with?
So my father's African American and my mother is white Cuban, not Afro-Cuban. And there's a very particular difference because in Miami, there's a very strong energy with white Cubans that are very anti-Black, and I'm sorry to say that. And my family eats me up every time I say that, but it is the truth. Mm-hmm. It's very much, I know Black, I Dominican, I know Black, but the Cuban version. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of messaging in my early life that Blackness was undesirable. And so as I grew up, I'm doing my own little healing. I'm figuring things out, and I'm just like looking for healers that look like me. Mm-hmm. At the time, this was like 2016. Instagram was just starting, and there was just, you could find healers that, not to say they didn't exist, but I just felt like I was looking for them. Mm-hmm. And so I started sharing that journey and my own healing journey. And then a lot of Black women were kind of like having the same experience. And that's where Curvy Curly Conscious started. I was just like, I want to create a space where Black women can feel safe, because that was the main thing. It's like, Sheila, but we don't know if we feel safe in environments with non-Black women, because when we speak our experiences, people be like, that's not really how it is, or
or are you exaggerating?
Honestly, I mean, I'm in spaces I'm a very esoteric, I'm an eccentric girl. Like, I'm with all the women who people can talk about aliens and past lives and multiple lives and spirit animals, but then you get them to talk about racism and it's like crickets.
Yeah.
We're all one. You cannot neglect the human experience. So that's really just where it started. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just start putting something together for me to be around other like-minded women. And now I'm thankful because it's 10 years later and Black women are everywhere healing.
Yeah.
I mean, you look, yoga instructors, tapping, EFT, there's all type of healing modalities. Yes, sound bowls, right? Movement, somatic therapies, and they're everywhere. So I'm happy. I feel like I'm right at home. Look at my girls.
Yes. No, I appreciate you pioneering and being one of the first people, like you said, stepping up and being like, it's a void in this space. But you said something that I kind of resonate with too, like growing up and being different in your household, like looking different. Yeah, so I looked, of course, my mother is very dark skinned, and by her choosing to have me with a artificial a donor, a sperm donor, my sperm donor is Iranian. So I'm completely mixed, but again, I'm growing up in Atlanta, all Black.
Culturally, socially.
Yeah, I'm Black. Yeah, so I don't know anything else, but I still felt, and then sometimes Black people treat you like you're not Black enough because you ain't.
Have you had that experience?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I've had you know, growing up, you the white girl. You're the white girl. Even though I'm like, my mama darker than all of y'all. Like, yeah.
You're like,
I don't really know. And then at that time, of course, there wasn't a conversation about this is where you come from. This is why the choice had to be made. There weren't Black men donating sperm. It wasn't like my mother just said, I'm going to go get another race. It was, this sense. All we got. You know what I'm saying? It's either this, Asian, or white, you know? So it wasn't.
They were like, let me get as spicy as I can.
Yeah. Facts. And then, of course, my mom was trying to make me a boy. So she was going for height and education as well, which was a whole nother thing. But how did that shape, like, your confidence? Because I feel like when you do grow up in a space where you do look very different, you have to you don't get a lot of external validation.
Listen, I feel like I had a bluest eye moment in my childhood where I think I was 5 and I didn't understand skin color yet. I was just kind of trying to make sense of like, how come my skin is dark and everybody else's skin is light? And so I was like to my mom, I was like, Mom, I knew what happened. I was like, so Mom, I had came up with this theory that when babies are born in the hospital, it's just my 5-year-old brain.
No, for sure. We try to rationalize it.
Yeah, that you have like an oven section and like at the, the babies like start white.
The incubators.
Yeah, exactly. And you put them in there and you leave them till like the desired shade of darkness or whatever. And I just told my mom, you left me in there too long. And she was like, Mom's busy or whatever. And it was probably, she was doing a mean thing. She was like, yeah. And for a minute, I thought that was it. I grew up for like a few years in my childhood.
Toasty.
Yeah, I'm just too, like, it's a default. It's a defect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't grow up with, that's why I'm very much like, if you look at me, you see my page, I am very much pro-Black. Mm-hmm. Like, even I saw Dr. Umar. Now, Dr. Umar, I ain't gonna say I vouch for everything, but this right here,
he be having some points.
He's like a comedian, low key, but he said this one thing, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie, he ate with that. Where he was like, a biracial. Are they psychologically Black? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I feel like to me, I understand my privilege that comes with being biracial. I'm very much interrogating that, etc. Like there was a lot of privileges.
Do you feel like you had privileges?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because my mom's family, when they came from Cuba, they were able to set up my grandfather set up like a business and they did well for themselves. So just that foundation, I belatedly benefited. My mother was very educated, very resourceful, and was able to use her whiteness. My mom knew that. My mother, shout out to her. I respect her because she used her whiteness for my benefit a lot. Okay. Like, if anything happened, my mom would fight for me to get scholarships, to get into programs. And, she would be like, my daughter's, she's a Black young lady. Yeah. And she needs education. And, she put me in like all the, she really did her big ones. My mom put me in good schools and all that.
So you feel like the privilege can surpass complexion?
Well,
because some people will look at us and be like, I'm lighter than you. You know what I mean? I would
think
benefit.
it's a matrix, but in the United States, I feel like if you're talking about privilege, it's really class. I think sometimes trumps everything, and that's what I benefited from was the class.
Got you.
My mom, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but my mom was definitely, I would say, more resourced than other Black single mothers. So I do think I benefited from that. And, so I think that there's a lot of struggles with it, but, you have to acknowledge that. But I think the thing that I took away that was the best thing, I would never go back and change anything about my life, is that I just feel like I learned about life as a performance very young. That's how I knew I wanted to go into acting later. Cause it was like I was a little anthropologist, like walking around like, okay, so if I go to school and I say, if I wear Saucony's, that's good. That is okay. That is an acceptable performance of Blackness in this space. But if you wear Vans, that's white performance. Like I was just starting to think about those things. So I just think it helped me give a more critical lens to the way I look at the world, helped me develop thinking that like deconstructing and not just taking everything face value.
Yeah. For society. Cause you're like, I see how we can play in different spaces and be accepted in different ways.
And I firmly understood from a young age the disparity. I could very clearly, because as I said, being in white spaces and then Black space, like I very much understood that, yes, I was like, honestly, I love being Black. I love my skin. I love my hair. I love who I am. Like I love being a Black woman. And I just knew like, that's me. I'm not trying to evade my Blackness and act like I'm not Black and fit into white spaces. I have no interest in that. Because honestly, I never felt safe in white spaces to this day.
Same. And
I don't feel safe in
and
white
I went
spaces.
to a predominantly white school because, again, class. I benefited from my mom being middle class as well and sending me to the predominantly white schools where only a few of us were there. But again, and she used to be like, I don't get why you're trying. She used to say I was trying so hard to be ghetto. But it wasn't that I was trying to be ghetto, but I felt like I needed to connect more with Black. So like you said, I was fighting to be more in the culture, more in the rap, the reading the books and doing my hair a certain way. So I definitely understand and I always felt like as I got older and I really understood that I was mixed and what I was mixed with, especially guys that I dated would be like, well, why don't you walk around like you foreign? Or, you know what I mean? And I'm like, cause I'm from Atlanta, and wouldn't that make me a fraud? I have no connection to. Why would I deny everything I've been around or raised around or my culture?
It wouldn't be authentic. You're biologically foreign, but socially, culturally.
And like, what does that even mean? Like, why do we glorify that?
Well, anything that's not Black is better.
You
anything. Ooh, you mix with something. Like it must be, exotic. Yeah. Like, there's all this messaging in which, girl, yes.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
So in your brand, you build your brand on self-love and liberation. Was there a point where you realized you were freeing yourself more than even helping other people?
Oh, all the time. Over and over and over and over again. Because like, I try not to take spiritual concepts completely because I feel like some of them engage in spiritual bypassing. But absolutely, what you give, you get. Absolutely. And I just think that in looking for truth in myself and looking for a place where I could be safe and providing those spaces, I get it back. Like, I'm not a celebrity. Like, I'm not the type of person that people are going to see in a store and take pictures and this and that. But when I run into people that know me from social media, I get the deepest, most genuine compliments. And it's like, I really love that. Like, they'll make my whole day. Because it's not like, oh, I like you because of only, the girls do be talking about your booty all the time.
So
they
nice
do.
and juicy.
They do. The girls will never stop telling me. And I love that for us. Yeah. But aside from that, it's really like,
your intellect
help their journey in some way. I mean, I'm not trying to be like I'm some great I'm just helping every woman. Like, no, but I really do think a lot of women benefit from my content, and if that's the case, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, you do make an impact, and I feel like by being genuine, authentic of your own experience, as well as like how we're learning. I feel like you learn out loud, like me as well on social media, and I think that helps other people feel comfortable with learning,
especially right now. Learning out loud is so important because we living in era of social media where everybody wants to call everybody dumb for asking questions. Like, you remember when you was in school and they used to be like, there's no stupid questions? You need that. You need that space to be open, to be like, I'm learning something and I don't really know what to quite make sense of it. You need people who are going to fail out loud. You need people who are going to fuck up and go back and talk about why they are messed up. I could cuss. Okay. They fucked up or whatever. And it's just like, I just think we need models of that, because everybody now, because we live in a surveillance state, everybody's going to have videos on you and pull up receipts and you said this here, and we act like cops with each other left and right. And so people are scared to make mistakes now.
Isn't that scary? Like how you don't even know someone and they've been screenshotting things that you
like
said.
The feds building a fucking RICO on you
across years.
Hello?
Like, that was 2017 or 2012. How do you remember that I said that?
I feel like there's a difference between accountability and punitive culture. And I think like y'all don't really want accountability, because even what does that look like? You just want that person to be punished forever. Like, I think even, for example, with Wicked and Cynthia Erivo and the stuff she said way back when, I think it was over 10 years ago. And it's like, I get it. If she says she's had a problematic past. Who hasn't?
Right.
That's my thing. Who hasn't?
Because if there was a camera or somebody was screenshotting your stuff,
that's all I'm saying.
How would you feel when you were 15 or 16 or 17, 19 and now you're 35 and people trying to hold you accountable for what you said or did back then?
I don't know. I'm big on accountability because I think you got to take accountability for yourself in order to grow. So this is conflicting for me, because I get it. People should be taking accountability, but accountability only happens when you're in community with someone. How can I hold someone accountable that I don't know, a stranger? How can a stranger be held accountable by me?
Or how will you even know if that's a genuine apology? You know how people be like, well, they just said that because you don't know. You don't know their heart to know what a genuine apology looks like from that person.
And it would be one thing if it's like, okay, the person takes accountability and then they modify their behaviors and they move on. But I just feel like we never move past that. It's just like the punitive punishment part. And then that's it. Never moves. And I just feel like it can become, I don't know, it's a slippery slope. I don't have the answer, but I definitely question it for sure.
For sure. So your movement of Unruly, those are your retreats, your unruly women retreats. What made you realize that you were an unruly woman?
I've always been unruly. I'm born unruly. I'm born unruly. Like, I'm an Aries. I'm very.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you are. When's your birthday?
I'm April 404. I'm so glad my birthday's 404.
April 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Kindred.
Yes, that's why we so deep in. Okay, I get it.
I just never liked following the rules. When I was little, I always questioned why rules are rules. And
who made these rules?
When you asking about privilege of being biracial, I think this is one of the biggest privileges I got from being biracial, is that I was raised by a non-Black mother. And this is a generalization, so don't tear me apart. It's just a generalization. But I think generally in Black households, children are seen and not heard. And questioning the adults in your house is really not usually accepted. In my household, I was allowed to question everything. I questioned maybe too much. Okay, maybe a little bit. I needed to be toned down. But I was questioning everything. I was asking everything. I was like, why is this rule? Why is that? Why is that? And then my mom noticed that, and she put me in a really good school with teachers who nurtured that. And I think that's one of the best benefits I inherited, was my ability to question things.
You're so right about that, because with my mom being a non-traditional type of Black mom, well, she still was, but she would be like, she wanted me to be a free thinker. So when it came back on her, my community, grandma, uncles, aunts, you let that child talk to you or question what you know what I mean? So I do know. And then she would be like, well, I'm encouraging her to critically think. And sometimes it does come back on me, but I have to tell her when and they always used to tell me as a kid, you need to learn when to shut the hell up. Like my grandma, you don't know, you always got to have the last, or you got the question. Too. Yeah, but you need to learn to shut the hell up. So I get that. That's a Black, like you said, Black community. We are taught, I think systematically, our children are supposed to be culturally seen and not heard, never question authority. But how far has that gotten us? Like where, like, you know what I mean? How has that even benefited us? I feel like the people who have made the biggest impact did question authority. You know?
I agree with that. I agree. That's a good question.
Yeah. So maybe I'm an unruly woman as well.
You are. You absolutely are. Yeah. I mean, hell yeah, you like the blueprint. Because you came into this world unruly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, unruly, sometimes unruly is knocking all this shit over, but sometimes it's also just a magnifying glass. Like, what is that and why?
Right.
You know, that's my favorite type of girls. I love girls like that.
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur of the self-love and wellness space, what were your biggest unexpected failures in this space and those things that no one wrote or could tell you about or walk you through?
Okay, so I feel like this is a byproduct of me being like a gifted kid. I don't know. Were you in a gifted program?
Yes. And it's like, are we?
Wow, we are the same person.
Like gifted and accelerated classes and you're so smart. But now that I'm grown, I'm like, did I have ADHD?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. I'm just at 35, I'm just now realizing
my
like,
therapist had to tell me like, girl, if you don't stop diagnosing yourself on TikTok.
So I fired my therapist because she told me I had ADHD. I was like, no, I have been excellent.
Wait, why did you, why fire her?
Black community, nothing's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I've excelled in every area. I've graduated from school. I've gotten great grades. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been a homeowner. Like, what are you talking about? There can't be anything wrong with me. This was like 2 years ago. And I'm sorry, I'm going to come back to therapy eventually, but I haven't, gotten up the courage to just, I've spoken about it here that I was wrong. She was right. And that was my introduction. She was like, I think you need to take this test because you have shown over me being your therapist for 2.5, 3 years, you have shown symptoms of being ADHD. And I was just like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. What do you mean?
But I feel like I got all the neurospicy things. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Stimming, is that what I'm doing? Is that why I play the same song 100 times? I'll never get tired of it. And my Ace and Sayla will be like, you still playing that Wicked? I'm like, I like Wicked. I just like to play it over and over. Like, I don't get tired. And then I'll be scrolling TikTok and I'll just be seeing people talk about ADD or ADHD.
And I'll be like, damn,
damn, that sound like...
Like, is that why I'm doing this? TikTok made me come to terms with it.
Literally.
Actually.
I'm like, that's okay. But at least now I feel like there's a little bit of a shift in the stigma where it's almost even like a badge of honor now. So I'm happy people are being less shameful. But I don't know. I was a gifted kid and I think one of the downsides, everything has an upside and a downside. And I just think later in my adult life, one of the downsides is that, in gifted, they kind of, which is good, but made you feel like you're so special. Your thoughts are so special and so unique. Girl, did you just finish my sentence? I love it. And it's like, wow, you get out into the world and you realize, yes, they are, but there's a lot of people there's a lot of, like, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, me going out, there's a lot of Black women in this space now. There's a lot of women who look like this, who can do this or can da-da-da. And so I just think like one of the things in my business was, I think I started to build a business in a reverse way of what I think is sustainable for me. And I will explain. I started my business from the goal instead of the capacity. So I started out by daydreaming about what I wanted it to look like. I'm seeing the events, I'm seeing the retreats. And I actually in my meditation saw the things I created, like seeing this is what I want to create. I want to create this empowerment movement. And then years into it, realizing I do not have the capacity to hold that vision. I do not have the capacity to be the woman that it takes to run that business. The vision that I wanted, I can't sustain. I do not have the capacity, nor do I have the desire. Yeah. I don't want to be always working. That's just not me. Like when somebody asks me like, what do you want to do? What do you mean? What do I want to do? I said this on my IG, like, I want to live. Right. I want to live. I do not dream of labor.
Yeah.
Hello?
Right.
I feel like even when we're talking about questioning, I'm like, do we have to though? We have to work to live just to be. Why? I gotta pay for water, huh? Water. I'm looking at a bottle of water like, ain't no way we agreeing to this.
Right.
Like I'm just thinking, no. This whole structure of you have to drag your lifeless body around to exchange dollars for stuff. I'm like, I kind of want out of this. What do I want? I'm a fairy.
Okay.
Yep. Literally. Okay, because I did a ceremony, psilocybin, and I am literally a fairy.
Period.
And I'm supposed to be frolicking. I'm supposed to be with berries and fruits and my titties out and just being happy.
Oiled up.
Soaking
up the sun.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I realized that the business, the way it looked in my mind, the end goal, I started, instead of starting from, this is the capacity that I have. This is what I can give. This is the lifestyle I want to live. Let me create a business that fits into that. Mm-hmm. I created a business and then tried to force myself to have the capacity for the business. And I realized a few years in, like, I don't think I can, yeah. And then to the ethics of the business, the way that I wanted to run it, I wanted to make sure, that I can always pay Black women, that I can honor Black women in certain ways. And it's like, in order to sustain that type of model, you need a lot of seed funding, capital funding, grants. And I'm like, yeah, you need to make sure you have a team. And then if you have a team, so it just became capitalism caught up with me. And I was like, yeah, this is making me really stressed out and unhappy. And how am I going to be stressed out and unhappy building a business for women to be happy?
For wellness, right. And I'm not well.
Yeah.
I've had a moment like that before too. Like, my whole brand is built on health and wellness, and at this moment, I'm not healthy or well.
Exactly, and so that's another thing. If I'm in a space where I feel like I don't have spiritual integrity, mm-hmm. like to be healthy and well, I cannot give things to you. I just can't. It's not going to feel right. I'm led by a certain set of ethics spiritually, and I just can't do it. So I'm like, got to make space for that.
And I literally just threaded. Do you thread that? I don't know what it's called on
threaded.
Instagram.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
I like
that's
that.
How my brain. I threaded that.
Always said I posted on Threads, but I threaded actually sounds. I like it.
Okay,
I'm a part of that.
Yeah, I threaded that. I was like, I do still want to be successful. Like you said, you have when you're growing up, you have all these. Well, I was one of those little girls that grew up about my career and dreamed about my vision of how I wanted my life to be. I didn't necessarily dream about a family or a husband. That wasn't the rhetoric taught to me. It was about, what do you want to be? So I always dreamed of being successful in all these different things, and I still want to honor that little girl in me of being successful. But now that I'm grown, and like you said, capitalism and I'm learning the real world, I'm like, I don't want to be successful at the expense of my daily life or how I feel or my nervous system or my household. Like I can't even clean up and do laundry, which makes me feel better when my space is clean, because I'm too tired from working 3 different, career paths or whatever. I don't want to do that anymore. So I feel like that is, I recently made that realization. As an entrepreneur, I'm like, I'm going to focus on the things that make me feel the most. And success to me will be me feeling good in doing it, and not necessarily the amount of followers that come from it or the amount of money that is generated from it. Right. But like you said, the people who are impacted from it, that makes me feel good. So if 2-3 people tell me or are commenting under that, and that's all it is for all 5 of us, I feel good about that, because I didn't burn myself out to still be, as a woman, underpaid, undervalued. You do all of that, and then what?
It burn this shit down. That's what I'm telling them. They like, maybe it's time for just to burn this shit down. Start over.
Let's burn it down.
Metaphorically. Or maybe no.
Yeah. Looking for the perfect space to bring your vision to life? Welcome to Visionaire Production Studios, where creativity meets capability. With over 10 dynamic sets, including a fully equipped kitchen set, we're built for creators, brands, and dreamers who don't just want content, they want cinema. Whether you're shooting a podcast, cooking show, campaign, or content series, we've got the space and the team to help you make magic and bring any vision to life. If you can see it, we can help you shoot it. Let's turn your vision into production at Visionaire Production Studios. So in this midst of like taking care of yourself, what are some self-care practices that are unique to you or that you like just stand on? And it could be anything, because I know self-care looks like it's a variety, you know?
First of all, I allow my self-care to evolve and change with me. I'm not the type of person who's going to develop one routine and stick to it forever. For example, meditation was a huge part of my practice for many years. I'm in a space right now where meditation does not work for me. And that's okay. I shifted it. So now I'm really into somatic practices. So anything that honors the nervous system and the body first, I honor that, because for us, you know, gifted program girls, you know, the intellectual, the thinkers, we're the type that can get in therapy and talk all about, yes, I know my attachment style.
Yeah.
Yep, I know what I did wrong. I'm taking accountability for that. We can logically, intellectually understand ourselves, but there's other ways of knowing, and your body's knowing is not necessarily just because you know better don't mean you do better. Sometimes you can't do better. Your nervous system has to be acclimated first. So me, I love tapping. I've been majorly into tapping lately, and I just go on YouTube and do tapping videos. And then I've also developed a system where I talk to my ancestors, and I regularly just have that relationship right there has changed my life. I never feel alone. I never feel alone. And I know, like, I know how to intuit answers if there's a direction I want to go. So I never feel alone. I never.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So girl to girl, like, this is just, and you might not know or have an answer, and that's fine. Well, because you're Cuban, did y'all grow up with the religion?
No, well, Christian.
Okay, y'all were. I was gonna say, were Cubans Catholic?
Catholic, yeah,
mostly, but y'all grew up Christian.
It was like a blend of Catholicism and Christianity.
Okay, because again, thinking,
who are the ancestors, right?
Yeah,
I go through, because exactly. I did a podcast.
Make us feel. So
you right.
Hear me out, right? I feel, especially coming from a lineage of Black women deeply rooted in the South. Like my grandmother and great grandmother my grandmother was born in Atlanta, but they were also raised in South Carolina, where she even talks different. They call her Geechee. And there are some practices that
hoodoo is very rich there.
Hoodoo, but it wasn't, growing up, there were certain things she told us to do or spiritual things that we believed in, but no one labeled it as hoodoo. But now that we're grown and we have all these labels, now it's like, well, that's hoodoo, and that's anti-Christian, or that's anti-God.
Hoodoo pulls from Christianity.
Okay, I'm learning. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm learning as well.
So
but
I'm like,
from my understanding, hoodoo pulls from Christianity.
Like,
it's deeply connected.
Don't sweep your feet with that broom. You got to spit on the broom, or you know what I mean?
I'm just tired of us calling anything that's not Christian demonic.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know it or you're not familiar with it.
Right.
Like, it's a very, to me, imperialistic way to look at it.
Because I'm like,
it's a mouthpiece for white supremacy. You doing their work.
Absolutely. I feel that way too. And I feel like it's another way to keep us disconnected from our true essence and our power.
Yeah.
And I threaded this as well, right? Question. I was like, if talking to our ancestors is demonic, how is calling on the Holy Spirit not demonic? Because we are made from
our
ancestor. I was like, if we're made of His image,
I don't even engage that anymore. I don't even go back and forth. I don't debate. You got your, obviously, my brothers, we debate all the time. They're very Christian. They don't agree with some things that I agree with. I don't debate. You got it, brother. I know what I know. Okay. And what I know is none of my ancestors are demons. Hello?
That's always, so just because they died, they became demons?
What?
Yeah.
So when you die, you're going to become a demon?
Right.
Hello? Like, nobody saw The Lion King, and when you remember your ancestors to keep them alive? Hello?
Right.
No, but on a serious though, I just think that's just the white supremacist tactic or a talking point that I don't even engage in, because there's thousands of religions. You go to different places. There's so many different ways to practice. And I just personally am not invested in telling other people how to practice. I'm more invested in what does my personal practice look like. And that's it. And when it comes to ancestors, I do agree. I did a podcast episode with Jasmine's Garden, and she was breaking it down like, not all your ancestors are your people. And you shouldn't be going, if your uncle was a gambler and he passed on, you do not need to ask him for financial advice. Because the traits that they had in life, they will carry over into the spirit realm.
You still that person.
And so, so for me, I did a lot of work. I spent a lot of time investigating my family tree and finding ancestors that I felt intuitively connected to, or like my aunties would tell me, oh, you're just like her. You just like your grandma in this way. My auntie would tell me all the time, like, you love decorating like your grandma. Okay, great. I know that. So I'm very specific and intentional about my ancestors. Like, like my grandfather, who's cute. See, he is Cuban, but I had a very good relationship with my grandfather. Mm-hmm. He was one of the only ones on that side of the family that made me feel welcome and made me feel like, he owned a barbershop. And when I used to like come in there, he used to be like, hello, everybody. Oh, my God. Nobody told me Miss America was coming in here today. Oh, my God, my Sheila, you looking so beautiful. Like, he would just, he's like Eddie Arnett, Desi Arnett. The one from I Love Lucy. Yes. Like, he gave that. Yeah. And I just feel like, so even to this day, like, I don't think it's like anything conjuring up or nothing like that. I give him coffee. I know he liked coffee. I love coffee. Cubans, we love coffee. Yeah. I drink coffee in the morning to the night and go right to sleep. So it's like, like I just honor him. Yeah. I'm honoring these people that are a part of my family, because what I know to be true is I did not come here alone. I'm not in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't just sprout out of nowhere, you didn't fall from a coconut tree or whatever she said. Like, honestly, like, we're a part of these people. These people are a part of me. And one thing that it has done is it's helped me contextualize myself in my life, because sometimes we get so caught up in our own ego and our own experience that we don't realize that you're in the middle of a story. Like, your life is just a piece of a story. Right. For example, relationship issues, a lot of women, right? Power dynamics with men, fairness, cheating, all of these things. I bet if you asked your aunts or your grandmas what they were struggling with, you would find that you're in the middle of a story. Mm-hmm. And like, if you choose, this your contribution to the story, and what's that going to be? Mm-hmm. So for me, I've been able to contextualize, that's why I'm struggling with XYZ. Yeah. Because my grandmother started to work on it, but she didn't get the finish. Right. And so if I can honor her, if I can be connected to her, she can help guide me to finish or to evolve.
And we always talking about legacy. Isn't that honoring your ancestors? It just like the pieces don't be adding up to me sometimes.
It don't. I don't even, like, honestly, when somebody starts talking like that, girl, I'm gonna zone out. My mind is gonna be like, darling, hold my hand. Right. Nothing beats it. Like, I'm just thinking about something else. I don't even... It's like somebody debating, like, does gravity exist?
And to your point, like you said about us not ever being alone, even I think when you don't know your ancestors. So, like, again, my father was a sperm donor. I never met anyone on that side of the family.
That's so interesting. And you can't, right? There's no way for you to track them down.
Well, I could go on a search, like with the minimum.
Like the ancestry things?
I did do ancestry. I found a half-sister who also was a sperm baby from him, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
But I could, and I met family. I have it connected me with like a first and second cousin. Now I found them on Facebook, but I didn't reach out. Okay. But I could, go down this, but to the point, I did a duck flower cleanse. Have you ever heard of duck flower?
No.
It's a plant that Dr. Sabi them use. You ingest the plant, you purge. It's like a horrible purge.
Oh, like a baby ayahuasca
yes,
type of vibe?
Something like that. But it only lasts I think ayahuasca you take multiple days.
Oh, I don't know, because I'm too scared to try.
I want to do it, but
I'm not ready yet.
I'm not ready yet either. But because even with the duck flower, it lasts 6 to 8 hours, depending on like how many toxins you have in your body and what you have to go through. But it can be a very spiritual thing as well. So I did it with my homegirl Tiara. Shout out to Tiara, who travels the world. She's a nomad type of girl, and
I love it.
She learns all the things, and spiritually she was there to like guide me through this process. Well, my grandfather on my dad's side came through to her like while I'm purging, and I know I felt it, like even though I wasn't hearing him or seeing him because I'm literally puking my guts out, I'm feeling it. Like I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. Like, wow, I felt goosebumps. I was getting goosebumps around it. The birds, I'm in the bathroom. The birds outside of the house got so loud. I'm like, why? I'm like literally throwing up like, why are these birds so loud? Like it was like a Disney movie, like when all the wind is going. It was like that. That's what it felt to me. But she was in a quiet corner and she was like, I saw this, and she didn't even know I was mixed. So that's why she was confused. Wow. She was like, afterwards, she was like, I saw this this tall, light-skinned man, but he said he was your grandfather. And she was like, but I thought you were black. She was like, he didn't look black at all. Wow. She was like, but he was telling me like, he's always with you. He's always protecting you. He wants you. He said he wanted me to have a deeper relationship with he said if I did go looking for them, they would love me. Cause that's another reason why I've never went. I'm like, what if they don't like me? Like, who is this little nigga girl? Like we didn't know the sperm was gonna get used for that.
Hold on.
Yeah, like no. Or what if my dad never told his new family that he was doing that?
That's
you know what I mean?
true.
So I just, out of respect for not wanting to blow up his life, but my grandfather allegedly told Tiara that he would help me through that process, or he would guide me, and he wanted me to try, and that no matter what, that my whole life he's been there. So it was like you said, like even when you don't know your ancestors, they're still a part of your blood. They're still a part of protecting you or keeping you safe, or you know what I mean?
I just think it's a way of deeply respecting them.
Yes.
And also too, there's a difference between ancestor veneration and ancestor worship. And
what does that mean?
When people hear I'm talk to my ancestors, they hear worship. Like as if you're or when they hear you have an ancestor altar, they think worship. As if you're praying to them and treating them like a god. Veneration is remembrance.
Okay.
It's a communication to them. It's just that you are remembering them, that you are honoring them, and that you communicate with them. And that's it's as simple as that to me. Like we love our grandparents and stuff like that when they're here. It's the same.
That love don't go away.
To me, it's just a transition into a different form. So why would my relationship end?
Right. I love that. I never heard anybody explain that like that. Veneration and worship.
Yes.
Yeah, it's different. Okay, I like that. I can articulate that. I'm a big component for women not being minimalized to who they're dating or who they're married to, or the men. Period. Because I just wasn't raised that way, right? And for most people, they don't even know you're like married to Ace Hood. Yeah. I didn't know that at first.
A lot of people did. I just did another podcast with Decisions, and Weezy was like, I didn't even know you was married.
Yeah, see, I think that's so beautiful that you have your own life and voice and presence, online or whatever outside of the man that you're with. Like, was that intentional? Was individualism important to you?
Being married is the least interesting thing about me.
Period.
I am a very interesting person. I love musicals, okay? I love horror. Like, I can literally break down. Like, I'll talk to you forever about film. I'm a film head. I'm a nudist at heart. I did a naked retreat one time. Like, I just feel like I have a lot of cool... I toured the country doing a play that I produced. Like, I'm a 2-time published author. I'm a business owner. I'm a bonus mom. And I'm married. Mm-hmm. And I think being married is very special. Absolutely. It's one of the most sacred parts of my life. Like, it's one of the best parts of my life. I love my husband. My husband is just an amazing human. And like an extension husband, but he's just an amazing person. And so it's important. But as a woman, I was very aware of like that I didn't want a marriage to define me. And it wasn't even like a choice I made. It's just how I'm built. Like, I just know I'm interesting. Mm-hmm. And I'm attracted to interesting women and bold women. And I think male-centeredness is just... let me keep it cute.
No, don't, please.
No, because I just feel like when you meet women that are very, very male-centered, it gets boring very fast.
Yeah.
Like even artists that we've seen that have transitioned to become more and more male-centered, it gets boring and repetitive very fast because it's like, all right, you got him, but like, what else? Like, I want my life to pass the Bechdel test.
What are you doing? You said pass the what test?
Is that how you say it? Bechdel test or Bechdel test? Oh my God, y'all gonna correct? They're gonna correct me. I don't know
what test you talk about.
They're gonna write it in the comments, but it is the test of like, it's a test for literature, for film, TV. Can two women be in a conversation without mentioning a man?
Oh, love. Okay, yes.
So
yeah, you wanted your life to be a representation of that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, because I just think we've been tricked. We just been tricked out of our power and our divinity and everything by always constantly thinking a thing is good if there's a man in the middle of it. Yeah, sometimes it's great, but also this is great too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things going on in life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And then, I do want to ask you a little bit about marriage, because they say when you get married, two become one. But how do you because I'm not married, how do you do that in a healthy way without like betraying yourself or losing that much of your own identity?
Well, number one, you will lose yourself at some point.
Okay.
Let me speak for myself, because I don't know if that's true for everybody. I'll just say for me, I did lose myself at a certain point because two become one. I don't think two should become one. Okay. It's almost like to become another thing. It's this thing you make together. But I think identities can collapse in a marriage very quickly, and I think that's okay to a degree. Like I said, for me, I think it did happen. I think there became a period in marriage where it was like I couldn't tell, like, was that my taste or his taste, and he couldn't tell, is that his taste or my taste, because we were like we got married right before the pandemic. So then after the pandemic, we just spent so much time together, which was very fun. But it did allow us to become super, super, super close. And so I think like everything, everything is a process of contraction and expansion. And so I think that I got really close. Our identities became very intertwined. And then it was like, hold on, let's step back here. And then you suss it out and you untangle that knot. And I think that's life. But I think for women, because of the way we're gendered and the way we're socialized, it's really important to fight for your identity. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, you will just be playing a character almost, like, what do you think a man wants from you? What do you think your husband wants from you? What will look good? And then for a while, you might look up and be like, well, damn, what do I think about all this? So I think it's a process. I think I don't like to fight things, because the more you resist, the more you actually, to me, can call it forward. So, hey, did I lose my identity? For a while there, yeah. Did he probably lose some of his too? Yeah, probably. And then did we find our way back to ourselves? Yes.
You feel like it was a natural, you didn't wake up and be like, well, I have to start doing this so I can get myself back.
I think,
because I feel like a lot of women lose themselves, not just in marriage, but in motherhood.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, I don't have my own children. I'm a bonus mom. So I think it's a bit different, because my bonus kids have a mom who's very involved. They have grandparents. They have a very big family. So while I do have the mother role, I have a lot of freedom that mothers don't have. So I don't think I lost myself in that role. Well, sometimes. But, I think I have a lot more freedom.
To explore yourself.
Yeah.
I get that.
I get all the breaks I want. Like, if, like her mama right there, like if I'm ever like, oh, she'll be there 5 minutes. So it's like, I don't feel like a lot of mothers get burnt out. They get overwhelmed. I'm privileged because she has a very, very they have a big support system.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, now mind you, you don't share much of your relationship, but I feel like we can tell that it's a very loving, healthy relationship, even though you're not very intimate with details. But
wow, I feel like I tell all my business.
You feel like you do?
I don't know. Maybe I
not about marriage though. I feel like it's very like you keep it.
That's true. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like your journey as a woman or life.
I try to be mindful, because he has a very, he has his own whole internet presence and beyond.
Brand,
so I try to be as mindful, maybe sometimes, but I try to be mindful of it.
What's one of the biggest key takeaways that you've learned, especially as like an unruly, independent thinker, as a strong woman, that has helped you foster a healthy relationship with another strong, independent man? Like, he's not how they be like, women like us have to be with a beta man.
Oh, or,
no,
you
know what I mean? He seems like a very strong,
yes, he is a strong
alpha man. You know what I mean?
And they love a strict woman.
Okay, period.
They love a strict and thick woman. I tell them,
very strict and thick.
I tell them all the time, I'm very strict, I'm very thick. Right. Like, I'm strict.
Yeah.
I got a lot of standards. Like,
okay.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
We're not going for that. He not going for that either. Like, he's strict too. So it's just like, I think he loves that. He loves that, because he knows, like, he's such a strong-minded individual. He knows that he's not going to bulldoze me, because I'm going to be like, huh, hello.
Yeah.
And he is raised by his mama is not playing the radio. Mm-hmm. He's raised by strong. That's what he's familiar with. His sisters, they're all very strong. So I think strong in the sense of like spiritually strong, and then they'll beat your ass. So right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, his family, they don't play.
I love a good.
I know. I love it. I love it too. I like, yes. So I'd be scared about him.
So he's comfortable with that. Like, he's used to that. He's not intimidated by that.
Oh, no, he loves it.
That's good.
He loves it. And I think Most men do. I think the only men who don't love a strict and thick woman, no, I'm just kidding, who don't love strictness are insecure.
For sure.
Are insecure, and they're interested in a power play, and they just want to make sure that you will always be beneath them and that they will always hold the upper hand. And those men you need to run from. They will ruin your life.
Spot it early on.
Girl.
Ooh, okay, my ADHD brain. I was having this conversation with my homegirl, and it was kind of in reference to like the Diddy situation, but I think in victims, period, and just recognizing those things early on. And I have an empathy or compassion for victims because I feel like women are often tricked, or because our hearts are so big and we think that we can love someone through certain things. What's something that you would say to a woman to like recognize those things early? And two parts. What do you do to recognize that early? But also, once or if you do find yourself in a victim space, how do you nurture yourself to not feel blame?
Ooh, those are good questions.
So yeah, because we were talking about it and she was like, I just don't have any empathy.
Who don't have no empathy?
One of my homegirls, she was like, if you go back.
Thank you so much.
I have no empathy.
Oh my God.
For Cassie.
Oh my God.
Like she was in it for the money.
Oh Lord.
And I'm like, from the out, I think that's a.
First of all, when we're talking about abuse, you have to talk about power. Abuse is about power. Who has the most power in the situation? That's typically the abuser.
Right.
Okay, so 19-year-old Cassie with Diddy, who's maybe twice her age, he signs her in a 10-album deal. Okay, this is a young lady who is chasing her dreams and she's thinking, oh, this man is going to make all my dreams come true. She's seeing how much leverage he has. She's seeing how much power he has. He's also seeing how other people are afraid of him. He's showing her early on he's violent. And the way women are socialized when it comes to love is we love a male redemption arc. We love it.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, the difference between Kanye West losing his mother and Meg the Stallion losing her mother. How much empathy people gave Kanye for all of his heinous behaviors because of one time long ago his mother passed away. Never gave that same empathy to Meg the Stallion.
She's drinking. It's like, well, her mom and grandmother passed.
And her story is way more severe than his. Right. But you will never get that because you're taught to distrust women and to overly trust men and have over empathy for men. And it's not like, again, I always have to say, it's not the shark, it's the water. It is the water you are swimming in. From the Disney movies you watch when you're young, the way you're socialized to play and be nice. And if a boy hits you, that means he likes you. This is the water that we're in. So when it comes to Cassie, she's young. And also, what happened when people are like, why didn't she leave? Did we see the video where she tried to leave?
That's what I said. Like, we saw her literally be dragged
in 4K.
Yeah.
You are seeing her get dragged down a public. And guess what happened after that? Mind you, the footage got scrubbed. They paid off the hotel. And she learned in her mind, I can't leave. Not only that, does she have the money to leave? Where is she going to go? Has he isolated her from her support care system so that
has her support care system also been influenced by him that are also telling her to just stay with him because he has the money and what else are you going to do? You know?
Hello? It takes an average of 7 times for a woman to leave her abuser. And I think like this conversation stems from how ignorant our society is when it comes to abuse and intimate partner violence.
Yeah.
We do not understand it at all. When I was watching the documentary and I heard that juror say, it just seems like two people that overly love each other, I was like, wow, I'm gonna combust.
Yeah.
Hello?
Like, please never let that kind of love reach me.
It is not, no, that's abuse. Like that man, Diddy, had more power than her in every way. He had more money than her. He had more social clout than her. He had more influence than her. He's literally stronger than her, older than her, in every way had more power than her over that situation. So blaming her is, again, a way to minimize the harm and victim blame. Yeah. And why? So we don't ever have to look at his actions. Instead of the question being, why did she stay? Why didn't Cassie leave? Why isn't the question, why is he putting his hands on people?
Or drugging them.
And drugging them.
Yeah.
Hello?
Because if they wanted it so bad, that's why. If they wanted it so bad, you wouldn't have had to drug them unconscious.
And exactly. Well, that's a power again. You want power over people. That's the ultimate power. If I can do anything with you when you sleep.
Right.
And also too, I think people don't realize like physical abuse, like the way we see with Diddy, never starts there.
Yeah.
It starts subtle. It starts by convincing you that you don't know things, that you can't trust yourself, that you're crazy, that you're unworthy, that you're not seeing things. It's this slow erosion of your inner sense of self to the point where you wake up one day and the things that he wants for you, you think you want. I wonder how much she really wanted to do those freak offs. Maybe at the beginning it sounded fun a few times, but to the degree and to the depravity that they evolved into, you have to ask yourself, like, what does that do to a person's self-esteem?
Yeah.
It's degrading.
Or I feel the best because he's praising me and loving me the most. Maybe I'm doing something right when I'm in these situations. And
you're constantly dodging minefields as a survivor of abuse. You're constantly trying to manage his behavior. Your nervous system is so dysregulated. Your whole entire life becomes to keep yourself safe. And keeping yourself safe is making them happy. So the idea and the thought of leaving, I mean, he blew up Kid Cudi's car.
Right.
Like she was in imminent danger. Not only that, I'm sure he had told her, which I think came up in another lawsuit. I'm sure he threatened her family as well. Maybe not directly,
and
but to
Capricorn
her.
Clark said that he's going to kill me if you don't come back. So now you feel responsible for other people's lives.
We have so far to go when it comes to about like talking about abuse. And I'm glad that the documentary came out because I think now we can have maybe a deeper conversation on how Diddy is not a bad apple. Epstein is just not a bad apple. Trump is not a bad apple. It's the water.
Yeah.
It's not the shark. It's the water.
It's the water, for sure. And speaking of the water, like, what do you feel like, or how do you feel like mainstream has failed? Well, there's a lot of ways. Let me narrow it down. Because mainstream in the world, there's a lot of ways we've been failed as Black women. But I'll say specifically the wellness space. How do you feel like the wellness space, mainstream wellness, has failed to help Black women?
Wow, that is a good question.
Because healing I feel like for Black women is inherently different than healing for another race of woman. And healing for women and all, I think there's tiers to it.
I will answer by saying one time I was at a healing retreat in Costa Rica, and me and my husband, and I think there was one other Black woman there, but it was a majority non-Black people. And we were talking one night, and they were talking about karmic cycles, and I don't know there's like other beings. I don't know. I don't remember because I wasn't really in that conversation, but we were talking about some far out stuff. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And they were just talking about, how we all create our reality and manifesting and da-da-da. And then I brought up systemic racism because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it up. And everybody at the table got so uncomfortable. Well, no. Well, they were so uncomfortable. I feel like the way the wellness space fails Black women is by not naming systemic oppression, gender oppression, racial oppression. Like, you can't tell me, because I was arguing with them because they were like, yeah, everything is a manifestation of our reality. I'm like, okay, so tell me about how Palestinian children manifested being bombed to death. I need to know. Like, break it down, right? It's not that simple, is it? Right? There's a lot more. You need to name some things in there. You need to name, like, why are Black my ancestors were enslaved in the most heinous version, the only version of chattel slavery that exists in history, in the way that the Europeans did it to Africans, enslaved Africans. Like, we're not going to talk about how that is a very human and real thing that has very tangible implications generations and generations later. Like, it's going to be messy. And I think one way the wellness space fails Black women is by refusing to give up power. Refusing. Stop trying to, like, I've been in situations where people want to give me deals to do things, but they only want to let me have a little bit of creative control, and they want to hold the reins. And, you don't want to be too pro-Black. You don't want to offend anybody, like refusing to give up power. And I think sometimes people in the wellness space use it as a way to engage in a lot of spiritual bypassing, where, I just don't do politics. I just love everybody. That's a way so you don't ever have to examine your whiteness.
Yeah.
People sometimes use this wellness
or truly
space.
help us in the ways that we need to be helped.
Well, they don't want to.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. I don't think you want to. You get the veneer that you want to, and you want equality, and you don't want to though because it's uncomfortable. It's going to ask you to talk to your racist family members or have to give up some power and privilege, and
that you won't have. And yeah,
I don't think you're ready. You ain't ready.
Oh, girl, I could just talk to you all day.
Sorry, I hope I'm not.
No, you're good. What's the one? Let me see. What's one book, podcast, or creator you believe people should be paying attention to right now?
Deontay Kyle.
I love. We had him on here. Yes.
You had him?
Yes.
I love his podcast. I feel like it's great. It's really nice hearing a man advocate for women. And call other men to the table, but calling them in. I feel like he does call people out, but I don't know. I just think it's just different coming from a man, and he's just the right person for that job.
Absolutely.
I like his podcast.
I agree. So tell us about the next Unruly retreat.
Yes. So, okay, by the time, yes. So my next retreat is in Thailand.
Okay.
We're going to be there in March, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to do some wellness and really have, just fun. Like, main thing about Unruly retreats is Black women being in safety with other Black women. And that right there is the medicine. Mm-hmm. That's it. When people are with our retreats, we just have a great time. And then my next retreat, I don't think I can announce it yet where we're going, but we're going to a Latin American country that we've never been to before. So stay updated if you want to come with us there.
We got to go, y'all. I'm excited. I just want to be around. Like you said, just this conversation alone has made me feel seen. I feel heard. I feel appreciated. And I feel like us being in this space, and especially in a foreign country, frolicking.
Yes,
it's just
exactly.
healing.
That's exactly what it is.
So
we just frolic.
We just got to go. Let them know where you can sign up and get more information and follow you on all the things.
Yes, you can follow me at the Shelah Marie on Instagram, and my retreats, the Unruly Retreat on Instagram. Okay. It's the best place to stay.
And before we go, what's one thing you want to be better at in life right now?
I want to be better at allowing myself to be seen. Stop being fearful of being perceived.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
You deserve to be seen, girl. You have a lot to say. You have a personality.
Yes.
It's worth seeing, because there's a lot of people that we see that ain't worth seeing. And they could go back to the shadows in the bushes, but they out here. But we need more of you to come to the front. So
thank you.
Allow yourself, as you step into this new year, allow yourself to be seen. Accept the invitations, accept the invites, accept all the glory that comes with it, because you are worthy. You're worthy.
I hope everybody listening take that with them too.
Yes. So I do trapformations at the end of every episode. A trapformation is like my own little rhyme rap, which is the affirmation. But I write it catered to like the energy that I get from my guests. So this trapformation was inspired by you. So this week's transformation is I move with grace, not guilt or fear. What's falling off was never near. I'm rooted deep, yet built to fly. Divine and whole, my wings don't lie.
I like it.
Yes. Well, thank y'all. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being on the show. I'm so excited that it worked out with your schedule and that we just got a chance to connect. I feel like I've been knew you. So
yeah,
my heart
I feel very kindred.
Yeah. So I love that. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all follow her on all her social media platforms. Stay tuned to the retreats. We need to book our flights because it's time to go. Okay. Yes. And thank you for tuning into another episode of Better with Brii Renee. We'll see you next week.